A.7.1 focuses on establishing defined physical security perimeters around areas where sensitive information is processed, stored, or discussed. These perimeters may include office buildings, data centers, secure laboratories, or support facilities such as print rooms or record archives. The intent is to clearly separate secure zones from public or uncontrolled spaces and to maintain documentation that defines these boundaries. Layouts should show where protective measures begin and end, identifying points of access and responsibility. This mapping is the physical counterpart of a network diagram, clarifying which areas are considered trusted and which require additional protection before entry. Designing an effective perimeter begins with understanding its physical context. Facilities must be located with consideration to surrounding risks, such as public access routes, adjacent buildings, or environmental hazards. Structural barriers, walls, fences, locked doors, and secured windows form the foundation of defense. Entrances must be limited and controlled, with restricted zones clearly marked. Visible signage deters casual intrusion while informing visitors of boundaries and required authorization. A well-designed perimeter not only delays or prevents unauthorized entry, but also communicates to everyone that the organization takes protection seriously. The physical design reinforces the psychological aspect of deterrence. Perimeter security functions best when it follows a layered model. The outermost layer typically covers the site perimeter, fences, gates, and vehicle barriers, monitored by guards or surveillance. The intermediate layer controls building entry points through access card systems or staffed receptions. The innermost layer restricts entry to the most critical environments, such as server rooms, research labs, or vaults. Each layer provides redundancy. If one barrier fails, another remains to detect or delay intrusion. This multi-tiered approach mirrors cybersecurity principles like defense in depth, offering multiple opportunities to prevent or contain a breach before it reaches sensitive assets. Technology plays a crucial role in enforcing and monitoring perimeters. Closed-circuit television, CCTV systems with continuous recording provide both deterrence and post-incident evidence. Intrusion detection systems alert security personnel to forced entry attempts, while centralized electronic locks record every access attempt. Environmental sensors, such as motion detectors, vibration monitors, and tamper alarms, add further depth to security, particularly in high-risk areas like data centers. These systems must be maintained regularly, with logs retained in accordance with policy to ensure auditability. Technology alone cannot guarantee safety, but when combined with trained personnel and clear procedures, it forms a robust protective net. Procedural controls support and sustain perimeter technologies. Visitors must register upon arrival, present valid identification, and receive badges or passes that distinguish them from staff. Escorts are required for movement within restricted areas, ensuring supervision at all times. Access requests for new personnel must follow formal approval workflows tied to role and necessity. All incidents or alarms related to perimeter breaches, whether false or verified, should be logged, reviewed, and investigated. Procedures transform security systems from passive infrastructure into active governance, providing evidence of both diligence and control consistency. Common weaknesses in perimeter management tend to arise from neglect rather than design. Organizations may rely on outdated surveillance systems or fail to monitor them effectively. Tailgating, when one person follows another through a secure door, remains one of the most frequent and preventable violations. Emergency exits sometimes become unmonitored entry points if alarms are disabled for convenience. Inconsistent enforcement by security personnel, especially in multi-tenant buildings, can also create gaps. Regular assessments, staff awareness campaigns, and simulated intrusion tests help identify and correct these weaknesses before real attackers exploit them. Auditors evaluating compliance with A.7.1 seek tangible, verifiable evidence that perimeters are defined, functional, and monitored. They will request site plans showing the boundaries of secure areas, along with policies or diagrams indicating access points and surveillance coverage. Visitor logs and access request records demonstrate control over who enters and when. Maintenance records for CCTV and alarm systems prove that protective technologies are operational and maintained. Test reports from intrusion detection or alarm systems provide additional assurance. These materials collectively demonstrate that physical security is not incidental but deliberate, a planned and maintained part of the ISMS architecture. For more cyber-related content and books, please check out cyberauthor.me. Also, there are other prepcasts on cybersecurity and more at baremetalcyber.com. Control A.7.2 builds on the foundation of perimeters by defining how people move through them. Once secure boundaries are established, the next challenge is to ensure that entry into those areas is strictly controlled and continuously verifiable. This control mandates that only authorized individuals can access secure locations, that their identities are confirmed before entry, and that visitors are managed according to documented procedures. A.7.2 is where physical access control meets human process, where technology, policy, and personal accountability intersect. Its purpose is to minimize the risk of unauthorized physical access, theft, or tampering, while maintaining traceable evidence of who was present, when, and for what reason. The scope of A.7.2 includes all secure areas within the organization: data centers, record storage rooms, research facilities, and any zone where sensitive assets or systems reside. Entry to these spaces must be restricted to personnel with a legitimate business need, determined through pre-approved access requests. This aligns physical access with the principle of least privilege, ensuring individuals can only enter locations necessary for their work. Each authorized entry must be logged, either automatically through access systems or manually via sign-in procedures, creating a full audit trail. By controlling and recording every movement into secure zones, organizations establish accountability and reduce opportunities for accidental or malicious misuse. Modern access control technologies offer multiple layers of verification. Card readers, PIN pads, and biometric scanners form the core of most entry systems. Dual-factor authentication, such as requiring both a card and a fingerprint, adds resilience against lost or stolen credentials. Integration with time and attendance systems helps detect anomalies, such as attempted access outside business hours or unexpected patterns of movement. Anti-passback functions prevent the reuse of access credentials to admit multiple people, while anti-tailgating sensors or man-trap vestibules ensure one person enters per authentication event. Each of these mechanisms serves to confirm identity, restrict unauthorized presence, and produce logs suitable for audit and investigation. Visitor management is an equally important component of A.7.2. Visitors, including vendors, customers, or auditors, must be subject to structured processes that maintain the same level of control expected for employees. Pre-registration can streamline security screening and minimize administrative delay upon arrival. Temporary badges or access passes must be visually distinct, clearly indicating their expiration date or area restrictions. Visitors should always be accompanied by a designated escort responsible for their activities within secure zones. Every visit must be recorded, and logs should be reviewed periodically to ensure completeness. Effective visitor management protects the organization's reputation as well as its assets, signaling professionalism and vigilance to external parties. Employee access protocols extend beyond initial authorization. Permissions should be granted based on role and necessity, using a documented approval workflow that involves both line management and security oversight. Access rights must be reviewed periodically, at least annually, to confirm continued relevance. When staff transfer roles or depart, their access credentials must be promptly adjusted or revoked, linking A.7.2 directly to personnel lifecycle controls like A.6.5. Surveillance, whether through cameras or system logs, verifies that staff follow entry procedures consistently and discourages complacency. This cycle of provisioning, validation, and removal creates a sustainable access governance model that adapts as personnel and risks change. The risks mitigated by physical entry controls are both direct and subtle. Unauthorized individuals might gain access to critical systems, leading to theft, data loss, or sabotage. Insiders could exploit weak controls to conceal malicious activity. Sensitive media or devices might be stolen or tampered with, undermining both confidentiality and availability. Even inadvertent lapses, such as an employee forgetting to lock a restricted room, can have cascading consequences. By enforcing strict entry verification and logging, organizations create traceability, making it possible to reconstruct who was present during any security event. This traceability acts both as a deterrent and a forensic asset. Industry examples illustrate how A.7.2 manifests in real environments. A data center may require dual authentication, combining ID cards and biometrics before entry, with a man-trap ensuring single-person access. In healthcare, hospitals restrict access to patient data storage rooms, requiring staff badges and visitor escorts. Financial institutions use multi-door sequencing and security guards to protect trading floors or cash handling areas. Manufacturing facilities often define tiered access zones, isolating critical production lines from general employee areas. Across all sectors, these implementations share a common aim, translating the abstract concept of access control into tangible, enforceable practice. Auditors reviewing compliance with A.7.2 look for comprehensive, current documentation. An access control policy should describe how authorizations are issued, modified, and revoked. Badge issuance and revocation logs demonstrate procedural consistency, while access system audit trails provide proof of control operation. Sampling of entry events verifies that logs match observed behavior. Test reports from access system maintenance confirm operational reliability. Auditors may also inspect visitor logs and interview staff to ensure awareness of entry procedures. The combination of documentation, evidence, and staff familiarity proves that the organization's security perimeters are not just architectural, but procedural and cultural. The effectiveness of A.7.2 depends on its integration with other Annex A controls. It directly supports A.15 by translating logical access principles into physical spaces. Its logs and records contribute to A.525 and A.526 by supplying evidence for incident response investigations. Access reviews align with continuity and recovery planning in A.529 and A.530, ensuring that physical environments can be secured or restored after disruptions. A.7.2 also complements equipment and media safeguards introduced later in A.7.9 and A.10, creating a complete framework for physical protection of information assets. Physical and digital access control are not separate worlds. They are interdependent layers within the same governance system. A.7.1 and A.7.2 together form the organization's first line of physical defense. A.7.1 establishes the outer walls, perimeters, that define where protection begins, while A.7.2 enforces the gates that regulate who may pass. They work in concert to deter intruders, protect critical environments, and demonstrate to auditors that physical access is as well controlled as digital access. A strong physical access framework assures clients and regulators that sensitive data remains protected not only in cyberspace but also in the real world, where physical breaches can have just as devastating an effect. With perimeters and entry protocols in place, the next layer of defense, addressed in A.7.3 and A.7.4, extends security deeper into facility protection and environmental safeguards, ensuring that the physical environment remains stable, safe, and continuously monitored.